Hello, coaches. Today, Diana and I are here to talk a little bit about the frequently asked questions for the coach micro-credential. We've actually got quite a long list of frequently asked questions, so we're going to try to go through as many of them as we can in this conversation. And before we get started, I know you guys probably already know who we both are, but I want to make sure we take a moment to introduce ourselves. So, Diana, tell us a little bit about yourself and your coaching experience.
Yes, I have been in education for over 20 years now as a teacher, but also as a mentor and a coach. I'm currently an innovation coach at the American International School of Guangzhou in China. I've been doing the innovation technology coaching for about 5 years now. I also have experience in the United States as an instructional coach and mentoring new teachers and student teachers as well. I've been working with Eduro Learning now for about 5 years, and it started with taking their first course coaching from theory to practice, and then I started co-facilitating and eventually facilitating that, and I'm very excited to have become part of the micro-credential, the coach, which grew out of that as well. I've been working with coaches and teachers through the course, and we really hope that you'll join us.
It's been such a pleasure to work with you, Diana, and I know I want to tell everyone that as soon as we had the opportunity to expand the coaching from theory to practice course and then the coach micro-credential, you were the #1 person on our list because of your extensive experience as a coach both in the US and internationally. You have a really strong background on instructional coaching in general. You're not focused in on one area. You really know all the different ins and outs of instructional coaching. So thank you for being part of the Eduro team. It's an honor to work with you. And just to tell you guys a little bit about me, I am one of the founders of Eduro Learning, currently the CEO, and I am also a mentor for the premium cohort. And I have been an instructional coach in international schools for about 20 years, primarily international schools, but in my work as a consultant, my work with Eduro, we also work with public schools. So I've had lots of opportunities to work with public school teachers and coaches as well in the United States. And I am super passionate about coaching, and I love the opportunity to get to work with individual and teams of coaches all around the world to help them not only make their job more appropriate for their individual school setting, but also to really highlight the power and passion and purpose of the coaching role in schools. All right, that's enough selling the two of us. Let's talk about these frequently asked questions. And we kind of chunk them into sections. We wanted to talk about who the program is for, how the program works, what kind of commitment you can expect, what kind of community involvement you can expect, and to talk a little bit about the differences between the packages. So we're just going to kind of go through those, and we will put some timestamps in the description so you can get an idea of if you want to skip ahead to a certain question, you can just jump right to that spot. So let's start out. Who is the program for? And I guess the ultimate question here, Diana, is this program only for coaches? And I would say no, that this program is for anyone, for someone who's been an experienced coach, someone who wants to be a coach, someone who's a new coach. Diana, can you talk a little bit about how we customize everything for each individual participant in our cohorts?
I agree as well. Everybody has an opportunity to coach others. You probably are doing it already, maybe informally, informally with your colleagues and that. So what I really love about the program and what the work that we've done on developing it is it's customizable based on if you're a classroom teacher, if you're currently a coach, if you're just interested in learning more about coaching as a team leader. That's the content. We have content, but then the way that we move through it or the way that you apply it to your current situation is very flexible. The different modules that we have recommendations. If you're new to coaching here, this is a great task for you. If you're currently a coach or you're even leading coaches, here's a task that's appropriate for you, but we can also customize that as well. We're very flexible on how we address the content and the conversations that we have. That's what I think is really important in this course, is being able to personalize it to your current situation or your goals that you have as well. So the content is there. We're flexible in how we approach it, how the teacher or coach approaches it, and just really very customizable to anyone who wants to do the course.
And ultimately, you and I are both teachers and coaches first, so we understand this concept of personalized or individualized instruction, and really that's what we're trying to provide, right? So there's course content, but even the way that you access and demonstrate your understanding from the course content is customized. And then above and beyond that, everyone in the program sets their own personal goal for the academic year. So that can literally be anything you want to achieve, and your mentor is there to support you in achieving that goal. So obviously the purpose is for that goal to be related to coaching, but whatever you think you need to get done in an academic year related to your coaching role at your school, or the coaching role that you want, or being a leader of the coaches like Diana is talking about, we will help you make that happen. It's entirely personalized, customized to you.
And I think that really comes through with the personal project component of the course, is that the participants, they choose what they want to focus on for that personal project, and what they're going to, they set their goals, they gather the evidence, they share what they learned from that. And so I think that really represents how personalized and customizable the course is.
And another question we get is, what do you need? So like, do you need to have your own classroom? Do you need to be in a coaching role? Can you take it if you're just a classroom teacher thinking about becoming a coach? And I think we've kind of addressed those. So basically, really, you don't need to have anything except, I think, access to other teachers, because it would be hard to do the program if you weren't working in a school. I'm sure if you're really interested, we can make it work for you, but it's definitely best if you're working in a school. There are sections of the program that ask you to work with a teacher, so that you need somebody to work with to go through a coaching cycle, for example, or more than one coaching cycle. And you can do that even if you're not actually a coach already, or if you're in a position where you're coaching coaches, the coaching cycle can be with your coaches and not necessarily classroom teachers.
Yeah, I agree. And there are components where you're going to be talking to administrators and leaders, parents, teachers, and that. So if you're in a school setting, you have what you need.
So our next kind of series of questions is about how does it work? And we know that this concept of a micro-credential mentorship program is kind of vague. So we want to be able to describe a little bit about what we do in the course. And basically what happens is, as a participant in the Coach Micro-Credential, you get access to 26 weeks of course content learning. Each week has a video, a written introduction, key resources, and practical tasks for you to implement in your coaching setting. And then each week you also get an email from your mentor, and depending on how you structure it, you might actually have a Hangout or a Zoom conversation like Diane and I are doing now with your mentor. So we have this kind of year-long academic mentorship program broken down into weekly sections. And we've also included breaks for holidays, so that, you know, if you are going to travel during your semester break or your autumn break or your spring break, you have time to take a break and reset from the course load while you're going off and kind of having those fun adventures. That's a perk of being in schools. Right.
And also we have a curriculum, the courses, the modules that we have, and we do have them set out in a certain order, but you're not required to follow that order. I have participants who we look at what the different modules are, and then certain things at certain part of the year are going to apply more, or they're ready for certain modules at certain times. So that's another part of the personalized, customizable aspect of it, is that that we can make changes to the order in which you address and do the different parts of the content.
And basically, as a participant, you kind of work through the content based on what you need in terms of your coaching role. So like we talked about before, we can customize that content, and then you go through that content at your own pace. You don't have to be on week 23 during week 23. You can be wherever you need to be at that time, and your mentor will work with you to determine what works best based on your particular setting. So the actual work of the course is usually to watch, read, reflect, and then share your learning in the learning management system. And you can share your learning in text format, you can share it in video format, whatever feels right for you. And that learning management system is private to our participants in the coach cohort, but all participants in cohort 3 will be able to see. So you not only have access to the people that are in your immediate cohort, like the premium or the academy cohort or the honor cohort, but you have access to everyone in the cohort, which is a really nice way to grow your personal learning network.
Right, and so the sharing of your learning experiences, that is going to happen in a community setting, but in a private community setting among the other participants. So you do have opportunities for interaction with the other participants as well.
And we know that coaches often work in isolation in their schools, so having access to other coaches to bounce ideas off of and to share thinking with and just kind of see what's happening in other schools is really valuable. And we have, as Diana mentioned, it's private, so we have a confidentiality policy that everything that happens in that cohort stays in that cohort. We know that coaching can be a sensitive topic in lots of different settings, and so we want to make sure that confidentiality is maintained. When we share excerpts or items from inside the coach, it's always with the permission of the coach who wrote or shared that thinking and has had a chance to edit if needed to be edited, so that when it's shared, it's appropriate for public consumption. Another question we get is, why do we start in May? And it seems kind of random, but actually it's a little bit purposeful. We start in May because kind of getting started in an online course can take a little bit of a while to build up the understanding of how the course functions. So what we like to do is actually start before the summer break, get everyone to know each other, get everyone to set up all the internal documents, get everyone to feel like they know how to navigate the learning management system, understand what the expectations are, complete our introductory course, which is a short, easy, breezy course to do in May, so that when the academic year actually starts, then we have a summer break. And then when the academic year actually starts, we can just go straight into it. We don't have to waste any time like getting to know each other and figuring out the logistics of managing the cohort. Starting in April, May-ish is actually the perfect time because we need to do just a little bit of logistics right before the summer break. Then you get a little bit of space, and then you come back ready and raring to go for the actual academic year.
I mean, we have both been in education for quite a while, and we understand how busy it is at the beginning of the year. So if we can get some of the, like Kim said, the logistics and things set up before you leave for summer break, then we can hit the ground running when you return.
Exactly. And another question we get is, how does the mentoring process work? How do we do it? And basically it works a lot like this conversation that Diane and I are having. We have regular Zoom, Google Hangouts, Skype, whatever works for you. We have regular virtual meetings with the people in our cohorts, both individually and as a team. And we just talk through the issues that they're having in their school, questions that they have about the course content, goals that they have. We just meet regularly and have coaching conversations. And it has worked out really nicely for my personal cohort. This round cohort 2, they want to meet together a lot. So it's really nice. We have these meetings as a team a lot, but then we also have individual meetings, and depends on people's schedules because they're all around the world. So basically there's a weekly email check-in, and then as many as you want kind of hangouts like this, either as a team or individually.
Right. And in the hangouts, the conversations I have with participants, sometimes we're just talking about what's going on with them in their role. I have a participant who's a new coach, and so a lot of where our conversations have been about what he is working with at his school and in his new position. So sometimes it's just really about having those conversations about being a coach. And then other times it's about, we address content. It can vary. Again, it's just very personalized on what the participant needs and how we can support them with that. And
we talk about lots of stuff, always driven by what the participant needs. It just made me think that many of my participants have actually gone on to new jobs during the time they've been working with me. And so talking about things even like a job hunt and how to find the best job for your personal needs as a teacher and your desires as a coach. And so like we can really, those conversations can range. The idea is to support the participants in whatever they need. Another question we hear all the time, what is the commitment like? What do you actually have to do and how much time does it take? And from what we hear from participants, it's a very reasonable workload. If you actually follow the general schedule that we set out, it's about an hour to 3 hours a week, and that would be kind of depending on how in-depth you wanted to take each piece. The content, as we talked about before, is delivered via a video from one of us, or actually one of the Eduro team will present a video, and there'll be some text to put some context into all of the key resources that you get, and then there's an action task to do. So some weeks it might just be exploring that content and reflecting, and other weeks it might be asking you to actually do something with teachers in your school. So that's why the time limit or time range kind of varies a little bit. And with the personal project, which is due at the end of the course, we really take time at the beginning, middle, and towards the end to really prepare you for what your personal project is going to be, what you decide your personal project is going to be, and how you collect the evidence, how you present it. So we really divide that up throughout the course, so that when you get towards the end, it's just really putting pieces together
for those final reflections and final video.
And the content is primarily video and text. And the text is articles from all around the web or PDFs that we have sourced or created. And the content is like a variety of instructional coaching resources from all of the kind of top names in instructional coaching. All the resources I know I always say are the ones that I wish that I had when I started coaching. So we kind of help you go from the very beginning of like, what is a coaching cycle? Why is coaching so powerful and purposeful? How can you set it up at your school to actually going through a coaching cycle and then moving beyond coaching up coaching to your leadership, working with parents, building in important critical skills with teachers and understanding how we can help teachers make that next step in their own learning journey. So really it's the compilation of all of what we consider to be the best content that we can find on the internet that we have access to and that we can share with you in this course.
And I think the variety of content, the variety of resources as well, is that you can find what fits or what interests you or what you connect with. So that, again, that personalized, customizable aspect of will provide you with the resources and then finding out what resonates with you and what you take away from.
And the great thing is that once you register for the coach, you get unlimited access to this content. So once you're in the program, you can go back and see stuff from previous, if you were in a cohort, 2 cohorts ago, you can go back and see the articles and the resources that were there and see if there's something you find is relevant now that wasn't relevant then. You can actually go back and access that. Another question we get is to tell people about our community, and the great thing about this program is that it really is built on a community model. This is why we have cohorts, because we know people learn best when they're learning together. So what we have is essentially one whole cohort, and we're just about to start cohort 3, but that's made up of 3 groups within, but everyone is in the same learning management system. So everyone in cohort 3 will get to know each other. It's just the people in the premium cohort will get to know each other a little bit better. The people in the academy cohort will get to know each other a little bit better. And the people in the honor cohort may spend some time together because they're without a mentor, so they just kind of go at their own pace. So the idea is to help you get to know other coaches who are as passionate about learning as you are, and to build your personal learning network of coaches.
And I think that's a huge thing is the personal learning network that you build within the cohort, but then also either through us or through other opportunities, making connections with other coaches or other people who are interested in coaching.
And we do have lots of other connections beyond just the learning management system. We have a Facebook group. We have a private Slack channel. We have our face-to-face hangouts, not only as individual groups within the cohort, but also as a whole cohort hangout. We have the COACHBETTER slow chat on Twitter. We have lots of ways for you to be connected with each other within the cohort and beyond the cohort. And another thing we really love to do is share the learning that's happening within our cohort. We really understand that it is important to keep that work confidential, but if there's something that's appropriate to share and that we can work with you to put in a state that it can be shared publicly, we like to do that too. So we want to feature our participants all over our Eduro blog and on our social accounts so that you can kind of widen your network of coaches and be exposed to even more people than you might meet within our closed community. And then the final kind of range of questions we get is, why are there so many different choices, so many different packages? And I think the answer to that is that we really wanted to give as many options as we possibly could. We wanted to provide an option for people who really wanted close personal support, but we wanted to provide an option for people who wanted a mentor but didn't really want to be in a super small group. And then we wanted to provide an option for people who just wanted the content and didn't want access to a mentor. So we've got the premium cohort, which has just 5 people in it. We've got the academy level cohort, which is limited to 15. And then we've got honor, which has no mentor, and it can basically be as big as we want. And this way, we're allowing ourselves to have a cohort that's a little bit bigger than we could normally manage with just one mentor. Having all those packages combined together into one program allows us to build a community of coaches, but also give you that personal connection at the exact level that you want.
And again, personalizing, giving options, making it work for you.
And you don't have to have a mentor. If you just want access to the content, you can do that too through the honor level, which is great. And those prices run according to the amount of people in the cohort. So that's why you see a price difference for each package. It's the amount of time basically that people are spending with their mentor. That's where the price comes in. And then another question we get all the time, which always comes up, is, can my school pay? I have PD funds and I want my school to pay. Absolutely, your school can pay. We can arrange an invoice directly for your school. We can also arrange payments in installments. If you're paying yourself and you need to pay over several months, that's totally fine. We can work with you for almost any payment method you need. We can make that happen. I think that's all our questions, Diana. Do you have anything that came up when we were just chatting that you think we should mention right now?
I think we covered a lot of it, just that, particularly really, we really wanted to let people know how the program works, what the components are. Of course, contact us if you have additional questions. It's really, I just keep bringing up the personalized, customized, and just the opportunities that are available as well. I think it's one of those things that you could go to a one-off, kind of a weekend workshop or that, but I think that doing this over a period of time, over a school year, with support or self-paced, depending on what you want to do, I think we're seeing really the impact of that, of the continued support and checking in with somebody, covering the content, adapting it to the situation. We're seeing a great results from that.
Yeah, it's about that personalized, individualized learning, that depth of learning that takes it to exactly what you need at exactly the level and time that you need it. And basically our passion for coaching, we just want to share that with as many coaches as we can. So we want you to join us. Our cohort is open for registration right now. Please let us know if you have any questions and send us an email or respond right on our website. We are happy to answer any other questions that you might have about the Coach Microcredential.